We talk about the Cenozoic era, the third major era of Earth history, beginning about 66 million years ago and extending to the present. So it was the internal of new time during the continents assumed their more modern configuration and geologic positions, and during the Earth, flora and fauna evolved towards those of the present. So we look at the Paleocenic and Mesocenic and Tertiary Quaternary with the Cenozoic. So we're going to talk more. So the Quaternary period is from 2.6 MA before present. From this time onwards, global glaciation cycles commenced and the Earth began the cycle of glaciers and interglaciers. So, the Quaternary is the last 2.6 million years of Earth history. It is marked by the presence of large ice sheets in the northern hemisphere, which expands when climate is cold, glaciers, and retreat when climate warms, interglaciers. We are currently in the Holocene interglaciers, which began about 10,000 years ago. So it is important to understand the quaternary climate system because changes in global climate that have occurred during this period offer important insights into how and why the climate change and how different parts of the climate system can respond. So, for example, ocean currents, atmospheric circulation, vegetation change, glacial movement. It is also the time interval during which humans and the civilizations evolved, which may have been driven by environmental changes that we are able to record. Quaternary science is therefore multidisciplinary in its approach. Geographers, geologists, archaeologists, botanists, chemists, physics, and more come together to address fundamental questions about how our Earth behaves. So the Quaternary period, the Paleocene and Holocene epochs, is is considered to have begun about 2.6 million years ago. Its importance lies in the widespread and repeated appearance of major glacial cycles. Evidence of these is provided by sediment cores from the ocean floor that contain marine fossils, including indicating ocean temperature and oxygen isotopes, records of past ice column volume, long pollen records of past vegetation. 3. The annual stratigraphy of ice core records from Greenland and Antarctica that indicate snow accumulation, atmospheric temperatures, and from oxygen isotopes and atmospheric chemistry. And 4. So glacial deposits demarcating the former extent of demarcating the former extent of glaciers. Detail of these sources of evidence are presented in Bradley's Paleoclimatology, reconstructing climates of the Quaternary. But here we give a brief overview of the major types of proxy records. So proxy records are chemical, geological, and biological indicators of climatic conditions that provides long time series of particular climate elements before instruments observation became available. Examples of proxies include the chemistry of deep ice cores, tree rings, borehole temperatures, coral growth rings, paleogeoglacial features, and lakes and ocean sediments containing pollen and microfossils. One of the most powerful chemical processes is the oxygen isotope record in ice cores and marine microfossils. Molecular oxygen is mainly made up of the light isotope oxygen-16, but a small fraction is the heavier oxygen-18 isotope. When water evaporates from the ocean, it preferentially contains the lighter isotope, so the seawater is enriched in isotope 18 by 2 to 3 ppm parts per million during glacial cycles. Then water is transferred from the ocean to ice sheets. These variations are registered by planktonic and benthic mineral that are deposited when they die in marine sediments. Additionally, as air flows inland over Greenland or Antarctica, precipitation is progressively depleted of the heavier isotope, giving increasing deficits of carbon dioxide 18, -30 to -50 ppm, that indicate the progressively lower condensation temperature in the air. The seawater oxygenating enriched increases during glaciations, when there is less water in the ocean, giving a measure of the volume of land ice. Hence, the timing and extent of past glacial ages can be tracked. Marine sediments have a time solution of 1 to several thousand years. Ice cores have annual layers, and the carbon dioxide 18 traces air temperature at the time of condensation of cloud water. These ice cores span up to several 100,000 years. Glacial ice also traps air bubbles, and this enables the past atmosphere to be analyzed in terms of its carbon dioxide and methane contents. Other investigates speleothem or cave deposits such as stalactites, stalagmites, and stalagmites of limestones, which can also be analyzed of their oxygen isotope content, because limestones calcium carbonate or magnesium carbonate. The growth rings in this formulation, when dated by uranium isotope methods, give information about past temperatures and moisture conditions. Uranium theoretic dating is based on the detection by mass spectrometry of both the parent 234U and a daughter 213Th produces of decade. Dates back to 300,000 years can be obtained. Terrestrial boreholes contain a temperature profile in the ground that preserves the integrated effect of past changes at the surface. Mathematical analysis is used to reconstruct these past conditions. Temperatures about 100 years ago are preserved at 150 meters depth, and 100,000 years ago at 500 meters depth. Annual growth rates in trees and corals can be used to estimate past temperature and or moisture conditions. Coral retain more carbon dioxide, retain more oxygen 18 in colder and more saline waters. However, record only span 50 to 60 years. Tree rings span several thousand years. Tree whites are narrower or absent in dry conditions that at the lower timber line and in cold summers at the upper timber line. Another indicator in tree rings is the maximum late wood density, which is measured by X-ray densitometry. Pollen trapped in peat bogs and lake sediments provides information on the regional vegetation cover over the Holocene. The temporal resolution is about 10 to 100 years. Pollen grains from trees, plants, and grasses can be identified, usually to genus level. Several hundred pollen grains are identified and counted on a slide taken from each successive layer. The chronology is mainly determined from radiocarbon, carbon-14, dating of charcoal in the profile that can extend back to about 60,000 years. Some pollen records extend back to 500,000 years. So, we learn about those evidences for the for different evidences. Number one, let's review a little bit. Sediment cores from the ocean floor that contain marine fossils indicating ocean temperature and oxygen isotope records of past ice volume. And the second one is long pollen records of past vegetation. Number three is the annual stratigraphy of ice core records from Greenland and Antarctica that indicates snow accumulation, atmospheric temperatures from oxygen isotopes, and atmospheric chemistry. And number four is the glacial deposits demarcating the former extent of glaciers. So, artists' impression of Earth during the last glacial maximum. So let's talk about the dendrochronology and dendroclimatology. Dendrochronology is the study and dating of annual rings in trees. Tree rings analysis assumes that annual growth rings reflect significant events during the tree lives. Growth rings from in the alcium wood of the trees early in the season, excellent cells are smaller and darker, and abrupt changes from light to dark rings delineates the annual increment of growth. Studying the size and variations in the rings provides information about the varying environmental conditions. Tree ring growth is influenced by a range of environmental factors, the most important being climate. Under conditions of stress, growth is retarded, and tree rings narrow. Under more favorable conditions, wider annual rings are produced. As a result, climatic variations over shorter but precisely dated time scale can often be inferred an area of study known as dendroclimatology. The importance of this precise dating techniques is that influences can be made about past seasonal variations, So A.E. Douglas and his colleagues at the University of Arizona pioneered the study of tree ring analysis. Initial studies attempted to release seasonal growth of trees to sunspot cycles. Analysis of Asian living trees such as the Pinus arches found to be 4,000 to